Shapur Ahmed Azimi has called South Korea home for a year now. He and his family were among the nearly 400 Afghans who settled here in the wake of the Taliban takeover. But building a new life in a new country has been tough.
It's so hard to lose everything, that especially your homeland, but you are not sure when you will visit again your family, your hometown.
Azimi is a journalism graduate of the elite Kabul University who worked with a Korean provincial reconstruction team in Afghanistan. Now he packs plastic products at a factory.
The most difficult is we don't know Korean language.
South Korea granted him a long-term stay for his work on its projects. But he, and many others who settled here, have struggled to find employment in their fields. There is also a matter of cultural differences. In a country where only around 3% of the population are foreigners, some parents held a protest against Afghan children attending local schools. But despite all this, Azimi says he's grateful to South Korea for helping them escape, especially as the Taliban curbed the rights of women and girls.
My daughter can't go to outside alone in Afghanistan, can't go to school alone, everything. But here we never think about when they go out alone.
Azimi says he doesn't think about his past. He has no plans to return to Afghanistan in the near future.
The U.S. Department of Justice said it was investigating former President Donald Trump for removing White House records because it believed he had illegally retained documents, including some of the country's most closely held secrets. A heavily redacted affidavit released Friday by the Justice Department held new details on the reasons for the August 8th FBI raid at Mar-a-Lago, Trump's Florida home. According to the document, an unidentified agent said the FBI had found 184 documents bearing classification markings containing national defense information, some marked top secret, after Trump returned 15 boxes of government records to the U.S. National Archives in January. The agent also said the FBI had probable cause to believe more documents were still inside Mar-a-Lago. The FBI action was part of a federal probe into whether Trump illegally removed documents when he left office in January 2021 and whether he tried to obstruct the government's investigation. The records also showed how Trump's attorneys tried to convince the Justice Department not to pursue a criminal investigation, arguing Trump had the authority to declassify documents. While the Biden administration has declined to comment on the investigation, saying it wants the Justice Department to remain independent, Biden on Friday was asked by reporters if it's ever okay for a president to bring home classified documents.
Depends on the document and depends on how secure they're bringing it.
Biden also appeared to mock Trump's claim that the former president declassified the documents he brought to Mar-a-Lago after leaving office.
Well, I just want to know I've declassified everything in the world. I'm president. I can do it all. Come on. Declassified everything. I'm not going to comment on it because I don't know the detail. I don't even want to know. I'll let the Justice Department take care of it.
Trump on Friday complained on social media that the affidavit was heavily redacted and demanded that the judge in the case recuse himself without giving any apparent basis, a request that Trump's legal team has not formally made with the court. The Justice Department also said on Friday in a separate batch of unsealed records that it has a significant number of civilian witnesses who are helping with its investigation, a rare disclosure for a probe in such early stages.
FedEx on Friday asked a federal judge in Tennessee to stop one of its largest delivery contractors from spreading what it calls misinformation. The lawsuit seeks an injunction against Spencer Patton, who has 225 FedEx ground routes in 10 states, mostly in the Midwest. Patton says up to 35% of its delivery providers are at risk of financial failure and is urging the company to better compensate them. He has taken the unusual step of going public with the challenges at FedEx and has been rallying other contractors to his cause. Patton told Reuters earlier this month he is not out to disparage FedEx.
What I really hope resonates in my message is that I am not here to be a bomb thrower and to trash FedEx Ground and the CEO. If that's what comes through in my message, that's a completely wrong interpretation. What I want to see here is that this is a call for reconciliation, a call for contractors and FedEx Ground to come together and address these problems in the urgent manner that we find ourselves in.
Regarding the lawsuit, Patton in a statement called it, quote, an attempt to silence the small business owners from talking to the media about the very real threat to the delivery network, and added that he will continue to advocate on their behalf. FedEx alleges that Patton's actions are a promotional campaign for Root Consultant, his company that offers consultancy and other services to delivery contractors.
Europe's blisteringly hot summer is forecast to result in the smallest potato crop in years, something that could affect the cost of a much-loved side, fries. The poor quality yield may increase prices for potato-based food, just as consumers contend with spiralling inflation. Potatoes are among summer crops to have suffered from this year's record temperature, as well as Europe's worst drought in 500 years. Germany, France, the Netherlands and Belgium account for most EU potato output. Bernard Lefebvre is the president of the National Union of Fries Makers in Belgium.
It is emotionally very, very difficult to accept that what is so personal to the Belgian, his fries, is going to increase in price. Anyhow, even if it increases 10 or 20%, you still have a meal for let's say €3, which is still affordable.
Parched conditions in these northwestern areas could push EU production to its lowest on record, according to World Potato Market analysts. Soaring energy and food prices have contributed to the sharp rise in inflation. In the euro area, it has soared to 9%, levels not seen in 50 years. Some European producers point out that crop estimates are tentative before September's main harvest, and cooler temperatures may bring late relief. However, Germany's Agriculture Ministry said on August 26th that prospects for the potato crop had drastically worsened. In France's latest field surveys predict yields could be at least 20% below the 20-year average, according to French producer group UNPT. Heat is not only a risk for yield, but also quality, with the shape and colour of potatoes altered by high temperatures. That could pose problems further down the line, as contracts stipulate criteria, such as how long fries should be.
The Dow shed more than 1,000 points as Wall Street ended sharply lower on Friday after Federal Reserve Chief Jerome Powell spoke in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where he signaled the central bank would keep raising interest rates and wouldn't stop until inflation was under control. The Dow lost 3%, the S&P 500 fell 3 1/3%, while the Nasdaq dropped nearly 4%. Tim Pagliara, chief investment officer at Cap Wealth, said Powell's remarks dashed hopes the Fed might ease up on its aggressive approach to interest rate hikes in the near term.
Chairman Powell essentially canceled Christmas. He told everybody we're going to have to pay for the inflation that's in the system and that it's going to be painful. He gave a very short, succinct message. His prior messages said that he couldn't control supply, and supply is what problems are with dealing with inflation. And so now he is going to have to do the hard work of, the demand destruction, and that demand destruction will affect everyone through much, much higher interest rates.
High-growth tech stocks led the declines after rallying the previous day in anticipation of Powell's speech at the annual Jackson Hole Central Banking Conference. Shares of Dell Technologies fell as it joined rivals in predicting a slowdown, as inflation and the darkening economic outlook prompt consumers and businesses to tighten their purse strings. And Affirm Holdings plummeted after the buy now, pay later lender forecast full-year revenue below Wall Street estimates, underscoring the broader downturn in the fortunes of the once high-flying fintech sector.